Hey folks, Later here once again. Welcome back to another Flash video. Continuing my superhero marathon, we're talking about the Flash 2014 TV series starring Grant Gustin. Hope you all enjoyed my thoughts on season 1. And now I'm giving my thoughts / episodes of the Flash season 2. Yes, which was, I think, this season ran from 2015 to 2016. Yeah. And again, I will not be talking about crossovers. There's 2 crossover episodes on here, but I will not be talking about them because, like I said, for the Arrowverse, I will be reviewing the crossover. So this is just about the Flash. And a quick what I thought about this season, though. I love the Flash season 2. This is probably my favorite season of the Flash. Always has been my favorite. Yeah. This is when the show was still good. It was getting better from here. It got worse later on, but for now, it's been really good. Not perfect. There are issues I have with it still. It's not a perfect show still. I do have my problems with it, but I don't hate it. I did enjoy it. I love season 2. This is my favorite season of The Flash. This is when the show was still working, in my opinion. But a really good show. Really good season. Alright. What the premise of the season is about is that in the second season, the Singularity brings this, at the end of, when there was a wormhole and Barry Flash had to go save people, stop the wormhole, it pretty much brings in this feature a new villain named Zoom from a parallel universe of Earth 2. So in this season we deal with other Earths. We found out there was like 6 or maybe 600 of them, something like that, who seeks to eliminate all other speedsters in the multiverse, where Barry meets his father, Henry Allen's Earth 3 counterpart, Jay Garrick. So yes, some spoilers in here too. So if you've not seen The Flash Season 2, do not watch this video. After Zoom kills Barry's father, Barry defeats Zoom and travels back in time to save his mother's life. A little bit more about the season is that in this season also sees Barry that Central City they see him as a hero, only to face a new threat, Zoom, who seeks to eliminate everyone connected to the Speed Force through the multiverse. And we do see the Speed Force in here as well. The secret of Barry's power. Yeah. And of course, he must take on Zoom and defeat him. Yeah. But really good season. And I wrote all the episodes down. Well, that are my favorite. Yeah. I got them all written down here for season 2, a little bit in the back here. But anyway, the first favorite episode is The Man Who Saved Central City. This is where it starts off from the beginning, but it's like kind of seeing a parallel universe, or a kind of an imagination of Barry's where he saves people or whatever. And he comes says hi to his team, including Harrison Wells, the Reverse Flash. Who we thought was his friend, like he's standing up, so it's a fantasy. But you found out that Ronnie and Stein, they turned to Firestorm, and to help Barry get into the wormhole, Firestorm goes in there and blows himself up, and Ronnie ends up killing himself, just like Eddie does. And Barry, it takes place, I think, about 6 months. Yeah, 6 months later. After this, Barry feels guilty about it. He feels like the death of Ronnie and Eddie was on him, that it was all his fault. So he decides to work at Star Labs alone, doesn't want nobody to help him, he just wants to do everything by himself. He refuses to have any friends or family there. Even Iris tries to talk to him. Barry spends his nights cleaning Central City after the big mess, tries to clean up his city. And since he's held as a hero by Central City, they want to give the Flash the key, though Barry doesn't really accept it. Although he does choose to accept it, yes. Caitlin is, she's quit Star Labs, she's working at Mercury Labs, working for Dr. Christina McGee, of course played by Amanda Pays from the 1990 Flash TV series, and Cisco is working with the CCPD, Central City Police Department, working with them to, stop meta threats and stuff. Even him and Joe are talking about it. I like their friendship, how it's going. But the Flash does run and does from Central City to set the key. But then you have this villain named Atom Smasher. Yeah, and then the friends, they said, Barry needs help, so Iris and all of them, Iris and even Caitlin and Joe said, well, suck it up, we're here, Barry, we're going to help you. And I like to go in Stein. Stein has always been a funny character. He's a good professor, he's smart, but he brings a lot of humor in the Arrowverse. And I like it when he says, this is Atom Smasher. And he's like, and Sister's like, you just gave me a good name, come here. And they give each other a hug. See, that was funny, good character moments, there. Barry finds out that there's this victim named Al Rothstein, who you find out is attacked by Atom Smasher, who kind of like Bane almost away, but Barry tries to take him on. Can't really fight the guy because he's very strong, quick enough to catch him. So Barry, gets these bomb barrels or whatever, throws them in the air, Joe shoots them, and sees him like, wait a minute, this guy's dead. But you find out that he's from Earth 2, which I'll get more into that. But eventually he's able to face Atom Smasher again. Nearly gets killed by him, but brings him into this area, this cold area or whatever, this fusion area that knocks him down, and he goes off running his mouth saying, you also have a man that watching Barry, keeping an eye on him, played by Teddy Sears, keeping an eye on Barry, knows that he's the Flash. But anyway, he defeats Atom Smasher. And Atom Smasher's like, well, Zoom sent me to kill you so that I can go back home. Apparently, this new speedster villain, Zoom, is also making metahumans kill the Flash, and if they kill Flash, they get to go home. But they have to call Zoom in order to confirm the kill from him to, breach to the Earth, to Earth 1, from Earth 2, to tell him. Yeah. But Barry gets a flash memory that he watches with Caitlin from Harrison Wells, confessing that he killed Nora. So his father is narrated. It was a good moment seeing hugging his father. And there's, they say, welcome home, Henry, Iris. They go to the West House. And again, we do get new characters in the season. You have, I forgot to mention that, Wally West, Joe's son. But anyway, before I get to all that, they just, have a good family time. And Henry and Barry talk, and it was like, Daddy, we're getting ourselves an apartment, we're moving together, we'll go hang out more, this would be great. But Henry says that he plans to go, kind of like off in the wilderness, kind of go somewhere else to enjoy his life, because he's been in prison for so long, he doesn't get to live his life, and he tells Barry he wants to live his life. This upsets Barry a little bit, but he begins to understand. It's hard, because he's just got his dad back, but Henry, again played by John Wesley Shipp, the original Flash from the 1990 TV series, is just telling him, I want to go live my own life. Just go do some stuff by myself for a while, just be going for it. I don't know how long I'll be going for, but I just want to spend time with, a little me time for myself. He's just not trying to be mean. Just, I think he wants, been the show so long, he wants to enjoy a bit of freedom, and because he's Barry's a grown man, and again, he is too. He wants to live his life, as well, but Barry will always be a part of it. But anyway, at the end, a man arrives at Star Labs, the man I was talking about, by Teddy Sears, and he calls himself Jay Garrick. And he tells them, he said, your world is in danger from Zoom. And then the episode ends there. But the man who saved Central City, great episode in my opinion. Alright. Another theory of mine is called Flash of Two Worlds. Yeah. So anyway, with the episode opening with Jay Garrick, and he says that, he tells Jay Garrick, he explains that he's the Flash from Parallel of Earth 2, that, of course, he's got like he doesn't wear a mask, he wears like a helmet, with the electric stripes on them, electric bands with the helmet, and he's the hero. Him and Harrison Wells of that Earth 2 didn't get along very well, because he thought, that he brings in villains. He created Zoom and these metahumans, and he's been fighting Zoom for a very long time. He said what happened was he was fighting Zoom, and then use the wormhole, it opened up, universe where him and Zoom ended up in Earth 2. So he's like, the world's in danger. Zoom is a killer. He's a murderer. He took over the Earth. He takes the worlds over. Zoom won't stop until everybody's dead. He's a psychopath. Yeah. And Stein, of course, explains the science to Joe, which explains Joe doesn't understand it. But he explains, our Earth is this, Earth 1, Earth 2. And then he brings another metahuman called Sand Demon. We also meet another character named Patty Spivot. She wants to join Joe's meta team. Whatever, metahuman force team or whatever. But Joe says her no. It's not until she proves herself and she's so determined that you find out that Weather Wizard, Martin, that was the first season, who had the powers to control the weather, killed her father, or I think brother or something like that, and so that's why she became a cop to fight for justice. Yeah. But found her and Barry, they have good chemistry there, and they even start flirting together. They start to build a friendship, and eventually, it becomes a bit of romance. But this character named Sand Demon, the guy who controls Sand, he nearly kills Barry, almost, but Barry, thanks to the help of the Flash from Earth 2, Jay helps him defeat him. Jay also teaches Barry first speed to get faster, and teaches him to throw a lightning bolt with his hand when he's running, that he could just run, slow down a little bit, and whoosh it, which is really cool. He's like, again, when Barry's like another time, like he can do it. Cisco begins to have these visions like he did in the first season, realizing that he's met him. Cisco's like, what's happening to me? But Cisco uses his powers to find Patty's location. Barry ends up killing the Sand Demon. And also in the episode, Joe's estranged ex-wife, Iris' mother, who they haven't seen, I think, over 20-something years, I think, pays him a visit. She wants to see Iris, at the CCPD. Stein ends up collapsing while talking. He's talking about her too, but he collapses, so they have to put him in bed. And our Trinity lays the Harrison Willis is alive and well, and he's in charge of Star Lab too, Star Lab as well, or the owner of it, CEO of the company. He should think he's created it. But anyway, that was Flash 2 Rules. Really good episode, in my opinion. All right. Another favorite of mine is called Family of Rogues. Jay creates like a device that he can get home, kind of like a barrier to his world, like a machine that he builds that he can create, but he says to help Barry stop Zoom. Meanwhile, you have Lisa Snart, Golden Glider, who is, of course, the sister of Captain Cold, coming to them, saying she needs help. That her brother, Leonard, Leo, Captain Cold, has been kidnapped. At first they don't believe her, they think it's a trick. She even tries to talk to Cisco, but Cisco, gives her the cold shoulder. Of course he's mad at her because she betrayed him. He's like, well, Cisco forced him to tease Cisco. Like, well, I enjoyed kissing you, Cisco. But eventually they believe her. He does track down Snart. And he's like, Barry, I don't need you here. Go. Because again, remember, he knows that Barry's the Flash because he found out that in the first season, getting that information from Cisco, from torturing his brother Dante. But he's like, Barry, I don't need your help. Just go away. I don't need rescuing. I don't need your help. Until, his father, until his father's about to come in. Lewis Snart, he freezes Barry, uses freeze gun to freeze him. And he's like, he's like, son, that's the Flash. And his dad's who is Lewis Snart, is working with his father, Lewis Snart, played by Michael Ironside, who has worked with DC before. He voiced Darkseid in Superman the animated series. Been in many movies too, a lot of movies, like Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, a lot of films. I'm not going to go into detail, but I think he was in Top Gun too, he was also, for DC, he was also in Smallville. He played General Sam Lane, Lois's father. And for DC, he also did voice Batman in the animated series. Well, there was an episode called Legends of the Dark Knight, and they used Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns in that episode, and Mike Garson is the voice. So he has worked with DC before. Yeah. And they tell Lisa about it. Lisa's like, no. And she tells them about, the abuse that their father put them through. They're basically criminals because of him. Because he's been a criminal for a very long time, but he's not really a loving father, as you can say. Because as he's talking about his plan with his third guy, Leonard and this guy get into an argument. Him and Cole get into an argument, Even his dad mocks him for being Captain Cold. He's like, what are you going to do, ruin somebody with that cold gun of yours? But anyway, Leo and this other guy fight, and Lewis is getting tired of this, so Lewis has his button, pushes it, pulls the guy set up. Finally, he puts the bombs in his people who work for his heads. He's like, nobody talks to my son like that. Nobody. And you can assume that he actually put a bomb on Lisa's head. You find out that he did, in his own daughter's head, just to force her. Because even though Snart doesn't care about a lot of things, or a lot of people, he does care and love his sister. Barry even talks to him about trying to stop this. He's like, no, Barry, I'm going to rob every place I can. Barry's like, boy, it's the Flash, I'm going to stop you. He's like, well, if you do, everybody will know who's behind that mask. He's like, Barry's like, I don't care. I'm not going to let you hurt innocent people. So stop it. Then he makes Barry, because they're at a restaurant, at a bar, he's like, you got that tab? Barry's like, so Barry infiltrates Lewis's crew by pretending he pretends he's another guy or whatever. He has to really be convincing. Lewis is worried about to kill his two security guards, so Barry intervenes and says something to get them to go up to the building to clean up, which they're planning to rob. Barry has to use his super speed to find the store, which he does, and then Lewis is like, thanks, Barry, or whatever his name is, and then Lewis shoots him. But being the Flash, really quick, he's able to catch the bullet. Him and his dad go through these lasers, but Captain Cold freezes it and just walks through them, breaking them on the ice. And before they can do it in front of robbery, his father, Barry shows up as the Flash. He's like, you better kill the Flash, I'm going to kill your sister. Do it now, son. But Cisco and help Star Lab, Cisco and Galen came up with this weapon that can shoot her neck. It'll hurt. She's like, do it, Cisco, I trust you. And it works. And then it's like, your sister's safe, Snart. And so Captain Cole, Leo shoots his dad with a freeze gun. He's like, I thought you hated the Flash. He's like, I do, but I hate you even more. Kills his own father. At the end, he ends up in prison. But Barry tells him, you know what, Snart, there's some good in you after all. You can change. He's like, what, become a hero like you, Flash? He's like, well, if you do, Tom, maybe you can actually become a better person. But you see that there's some, at least hope for Snart. And Lisa thanks them, and she gives, Cisco a kiss, Lucky Cisco. And the woman that plays Lisa, she also played Ivy in Gotham season 4. So, yeah, very beautiful actress, gorgeous. But anyway, she drives off on her bike. Joe ends up telling Iris that her mother was alive. He's like, Joe starts crying. He says, I'm sorry I lied to you, Iris. He even tries to bribe Francine to go, but she's like, I want to take that. She says, I want to see my daughter. And, he cries to Iris and says, I'm sorry. I'm bad father for doing that. And she's like, Dad, it's okay. Thank you for telling me. And then anyway, you have Stein who ends up waking up. They say, they talk about more of or two, but Stein ends up, passing out. That he turns right into Firestorm, burns up, and he passes out. Both blue flames. Basically, Then at the end you have Earth 2 Harrison Wells. Earth 2 Wells arrives through the breach, and he just goes right on in. But good episode in my opinion. Alright. The next favorite episode of mine is called The Fury of Firestorm. Of course, after Stein is stabilized, we found out that he's dying, or having he'll get worse, he'll probably die from it, so they have to find a new donor, a new person for him to emerge with. And there's two perfect candidates. One is Jefferson Jackson, who was a football player in high school, and he was going to go to college and stuff. You see him playing football one night after a football game. The particle accelerator goes off, and it blows up at him. He gets injured leg, and instead years later he's a mechanic. Not his dream completely. Not the way his life wanted to go. And then this other candidate named Henry Hewitt, who they tried to talk to at first because he was a scientist and all that stuff. And even him and Stein get along, and she thinks that, he's perfect for the job. And they try to, put the sensor on him. He tries to emerge with Stein, but it doesn't work. He's like, and he gets mad. He's like, next time don't get somebody's hopes up. But you find out that he's got a bit of that fire. He's turning red. His body is. He even loses his temper at work. His boss yells at him, and he loses it and uses his powers and hurts some people. Caitlin looks him up. Caitlin looks him up. Find out that he's a criminal record, so not so perfect. For his temper and assault and battery. Oh wow, he gave a crazy guy superpowers. Way to go there. No, I'm kidding. She didn't know, but anyway, Caitlin. At first Jefferson Jackson doesn't want it. Jackson's like, no, I don't want this. That part will serve ruin my life. I don't want any superpowers. I don't want to be a part of it. And Barry's like, we can't force him to do it. But Caitlin goes to him later, apologizes, like, you can be a hero. Sometimes life gives a different direction for you. Throws you a curveball. And Hewitt is angry, goes over to Jackson's place, attacks him until, he throws something out and knocks him out. And he's losing his mind, and so they take him there and they put the firestorm in, and he emerges, and it's really cool, seeing him fly and stuff. But they go, Barry helps him as the Flash. They get Hewitt mad, and he's able to take him out. He's like, I just do this power firestorm. I'm the hero. And at the end, him and Stein decide to figure out more about their powers, learn more about it. Of course, they end up joining the Legends of Tomorrow, which, the show, I think, comes out a little later on, but, anyway, you see more of them in Legends of Tomorrow. But I do like seeing at the end where he's flying. That was pretty cool. Stein eventually, figures out that Cisco has these powers. Eventually tells him before he leaves, you need to tell people about this. You need to tell your friends about this. Let them know. Francine reveals that she is suffering from a terminal illness. She has a few months to live. So she wants to see her. Iris later confronts her for hiding these incidents from her brother. She even yells at her mother, Francine. When she first meets her, she's like, well, Francine, I don't want to know you as a person. You left me and my dad a long time ago. I just don't want nothing to do with you. And she gets her, of course, when she left Joe, she was pregnant with a boy, and his name grew to be Wally. And she kept, and he's like, don't you tell my dad about it. You'll break his heart doing that. It'll make Joe feel like a bad father. Wells ends up breaking the record labs and steals an unknown device. Barry is attacked by a metahuman, a shark monster called a King Shark. Of course, his exploitation goes, he likes Patty's pivot, and King Shark attacks him. She's like, Flash, someone wants you dead. He's a giant CGI shark. Is some of the CGI, a lot of the CGI in the show is not very good. Yeah. Let's just say Jaws makes it look better. You can make fun of the mechanic shark, but you can make fun of this a lot more. Anyway, the CGI on the show as it goes on become worse. But anyway, before King Shark can do anything, she gets shot. I mean, she shoots at King Shark, like, let him go. You know. And Harrison Wells shows up there too and shoots him out. He's got like this gun or whatever, and Barry's like, who are you? And then shows him his face, Harrison Wells, and he's like roll first. Yeah. And then ends there. But good episode of my opinion. Alright, then this episode that was okay. This wasn't very big on it, but that episode is called The Darkness and the Light. Yeah. This Wells, who is named Harry, he tells them why he's there, that they're stopping Zoom attack this Earth, and but he lets them know, right, I'm not the Zoom, I'm not the Reverse Flash, I'm not that Harrison Wells, I'm the real Harrison Wells, I'm not him. You know. But Harry's a bit of a jerk sometimes, but you can see why, but he's still going to be an asshole sometimes. He wants to help him stop the Zoom and defeat other metahumans. At the meantime, though, Zoom sends in from her to a character named Dr. White, who is, who was Linda Park. Linda Park on Earth 1 was the one that dated Barry Allen in the first season. But here Dr. White she makes, Barry tries to fight her first. He even tries to tell, Jay and Harry don't get along. There's friction between them, they argue, and early in the episode, they get into a fist fight because, he runs his, Harry, of course, being the jerk that he is, runs off his mouth to Jay, and Jay punches him in the face, and the two get into a fight until Barry breaks it up. But they, Linda sees her alter herself, which she decides to kill, this version of herself. Even though she's not a killer. But she does make Barry go blind. He goes on a date with Patty, and, he just goes helping him throughout the date. And he's like, well, she looks great. He's like, you look beautiful. But she's able to realize that Barry's blind. Of course, he comes back to see him again. But she wants to kill her to take over her identity. But, by accidentally, she ends up killing his boss, who, the boss tries to go up to her, Dr. White, uses her gloves and just, attacks the guy. Harry ends up revealing Cisco's, because he's got this watch that can track metahumans. He's like, Cisco is a metahuman. He's like, but he's able to use his power to find Dr. Light, that she's in a train station. He emerges, or Barry uses time, speed mirages of himself. First Light defeats him, but then he's able to figure it out eventually. They plan to use her for good to defeat Zoom, but of course Light escapes. He's able to make herself disappear and able to get out of there. Jay ends up leaving the team because of what they're going to do. And Cisco meets this girl named Kendra Sanders, who he tries to say, would you go out with me on a date? She's like, no. But then later on, he rejects first. We'll do that stuff. But anyway, but later on she decides to go on a date with Cisco. Cisco ends up picking the nickname, which I think is cool, Vibe, because he can create, not just only see visions, but he can have like sonic booms coming out of his hands. He can, open up a portal with his hands to other worlds. Yeah. And Background Arcade reveals that Zoom has a man in a mask, like in a prison cell, and he has her daughter, Jessie Quick, just Jessie. He's like, your father's a fool. He's voiced by Tony Todd, who I think played Candyman. You remember that man, Tony Todd? That dude has got a very intimidating voice. And Zoom looks scary, because I'll admit that. Just, look at that Zoom here. Can't really see him, but he's got like the face of a demon and talks like one too. Very scary with his voice. Yeah. But that was an okay episode. Just wasn't a fan of the big Dr. Light character. I'm like, she's not a killer, but she wants to kill. Okay. But not that interesting of a character, in my opinion. Then you have another friend of mine called... So that was okay. Alright. Another favorite of mine is called Into Zoom. Yeah. Like I said, Dr. Light ends up escaping from her cell. Linda agrees to help the team by impersonating Dr. Light, because again, she looks like her doppelganger from Earth 2. They make her run through some tests using her abilities. And, first she's like, yeah, I did it, and she almost sprayed Cisco. Almost said Cisco and Harry, which I thought that was funny. I think in this episode, Cisco and Harry ever talking, Harry was like, well, what's wrong? What did he do to you? He can't even look me in the eye. Because he reminds him so much of that Harry, again, he tells him that Reverse Evil Thawne killed him in a time at very race, but remember he used his hands to vibrate and crush his heart and kill him. But, she doesn't want to help her saying she can't do it. She's even in danger from finding Zoom, who confronts Linda at Central, at the newspaper where she works with Iris, and Iris become their friends, and, Zoom just listens to her, like, kidnaps her. They stage a fight between her and Zoom, between her and Light. She's just playing a part to kill Flash and take his emblem. This attempt fails as Zoom knew the plan. Instead, he goes after Linda. Like I say, kidnaps her. Got on top of the building if Charlotte was about to kill her. Barry saves her. He's like, well, come on, Flash. I am the fastest man alive. I'll defeat you. Barry tries to, use the lightning at Jay Collin, but Zoom catches the lightning and throws it back at him. And they race, but Barry can't catch him. And Zoom gives him quite a beating, a few punches here and there. Breaks his back, nearly kills him, gives him a beating. But, Zoom decides to mock in this occasion by, using his speed to grab Barry, just to drag him after beating him up nearly to death. Dragging him and saying, you see local news and the media and Star Labs, and goes to the police station like, look at your hero now. Look what a hero he is beating. You gave this man the key to the city. I am the fastest man alive. I'm the better one. Even takes him to the cops. So Zoom is so fast that the police try to, it's like maybe 10, 15 cops in there, try to shoot at him, and Zoom grabs all the bullets like this. Don't do that again. And he's your team is weak. Barry ends up bedridden for a while. Now, his legs, back is broken too. Zoom stabs Barry with a hand, but Cisco shoots him with the serum. It hurts him, but Zoom speeds off. ends up revealing that Zoom has his daughter, Jesse. Barry looks over his injuries, but he can't feel his legs. Like, guys, he broke my legs, I can't feel him in the episode. It's a great episode in my opinion. Zoom is such a great villain here. I mean, it's just scary how he overpowers Barry. And nobody kills him. Barry's beaten to a pulp. I mean, he's all bloody in the face, just, Zoom's like, I like that Zoom is just showing off, like saying, see, I'm better. I'm the fastest man alive. A good episode in my opinion. Another favorite of mine is Guerrilla Warfare. This is where we get Guerrilla Grodd back. Grodd ends up in these containers, these bio containers or whatever. So he gets this taste of mind control of he of course gets Grodd can mind control. He does this to a scientist. This scientist like attacks these people, and he brings it out. Next thing you know, comes right in front of Grodd, and Grodd opens his mouth like, what the? And then, Grodd hits him, kills him very easily. And they find out the impact. Barry even, does his CSI stuff. Barry can use his powers, he's in a wheelchair. Just feeling beating him down that he can't believe he was defeated like this. But Irish reaches out to his father Henry, and his father says something like, so what, he beats you and stuff? Doesn't mean you give up, son. You just gotta keep going. You gotta keep running, Barry. Don't give up. I like his encouraging. Again, played by John Wesley Shipp. Will's almost just trying to close all the breaches except one that so Zoom can't enter into the truck. So for him, Cisco goes on David Kendra, touches Kendra, but he sees this vision of her. You find out that she ends up being Hawk Girl, not Hawk Girl, Hawk Girl, a DC character, with wings, they can fly, But he eventually kidnaps Caitlin. Grodd does, and tells her, I want you to make, he tells Grodd, he was speaking to his mind telling her, I want you to make more like me, more apes, more gorillas like me. And they decide to trick him by, having Harry pretend that he is Eobard Thawne. He puts on the suit, and, Barry gets mad, nobody attacks him. He's like, I'm sorry, But he, Harry goes to him as, posing as Thawne, trying to tell him, please give Caitlin back. It's like, father, don't ask. But Grodd is smart. Grodd's like, Grodd knows what, you're not father. You're not, who are you? Grodd knocks him down. He's like, father doesn't ask, father takes. Because because he has a special bond with Eobard that he considers him like a father. That's what he calls him, father. Because they have a special bond together. But Caitlin and Zabriskie, they both escape. They lure Grodd to this dimension. Grodd chases Barry, almost kills him, again chokes him. He's like, Flash, enemy is my enemy. And so, Canada's able to shred him, because he had a bond with Caitlin too. But they knocked him onto the breach, and Grodd ends up in this world of apes. Which you do see more than in season 3, but you see Grodd roaring at the end. But really good episode, in my opinion. Even though she felt like she betrayed guys, like, no, you did him a favor. You put him in a place where he belonged. He's in a place with his own kind where he can't just really go walking out during the day. He's able to, I forget to mention he did mind trick, control her mind, because Caitlin, pushes Cisco. She's like, what the hell, Caitlin? That was funny. But Grodd has to use mind control. He can't just go walk around daylight because he's a giant gorilla. But anyway, Good episode. Guerrilla Warfare, good episode in my opinion. And again, I'm not talking about no crossovers. There was a crossover with the Green Arrow and his team, where they helped Kendra. Yeah. Well, he said I'll be reviewing that, so one day. Alright, another favorite of mine. Nope, not Legends of Today. Another favorite of mine is called Running to Stand Still. Here's my water. This is where the wizard, Martin, breaks out to Trickster, Jesse James again. You have Mark Hamill once again playing the Trickster like he did in the 90s show. And he breaks out a snarl about Ironhearts. You know, him and Captain Cold and the wizard are about to fight. They're like, boys, calm down. We'll get the Flash. We'll kill him. First we'll play some tricks. And we'll get him. You know. And it's also a Christmas episode. But Snarl says, no, not interested. You know, he goes to Barry telling him, you know, he's like, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. He's like, what are you here for, Snart? You know. And Cole tells him about that Jesse and the wizard are planning to kill you. So he's like, why don't you help me? I was like, nope, I'm not a hero, not my type. See you. You know. And anyway, we were playing Trickster and Weather Wizard plant bombs and Christmas presents. Yeah. Because Trickster, you see an interview with him first. Again, Mark Hamill's so great, so he really like, you know, sings a little Christmas song, Flash. You know. And he shows up as Santa Claus giving these little presents like, oh, it'll be a real explosion. But anyway, the wizard, Flash, ends up confronting them, and he's like, I'm going to stop you guys, you're going to go to jail. But he's like, no, we're not. Where the wizard tells them, we got these bombs planted around the city, and if you do anything, we'll push this button, it'll go off. So, where the wizard gives Flash a bit of beating. But thanks to the help of Will, Cisco, and Jerry, they close these breaches, I like it when Harry, again, sometimes a jerk would find when he walks on the kid's door, he's like, give me your presents, all of them. The kid's like, Mom! And that was funny. But they defeat them, and Barry takes the wizard out and puts, Jesse James, Trickster, ties him up. And also Patty wants to kill Martin. She wants to kill him because, again, like I said, the death of her father, when he robbed the bank, he shot her father. And Barry tries to talk to her, but it doesn't work. Even as the Flash, they try to go and stop them, but they end up in a trap. She's like, I don't even know you barely. She doesn't know Barry's the Flash, of course. But then, she shoots Flash with his gun to take him down, and Patty's close to shooting Martin. It's like, no, don't do this. If you pull that trigger, your life is over. You're going to go to jail for this. It's like, okay, you're under arrest, and he convinces Patty. But Iris and Barry tell Joe about Wally. It's upset Joe's up first, but it does upset him because he didn't know. Kayla and Jay start a romantic relationship. They had a Christmas relationship. They share a kiss on the mistletoe because it's Christmas time. And Zoom is sending more teams, more metahumans, but you find out that he wants to help Barry get, Flash gets faster, but he wants to steal his speed. He wants more of his speed, more of his power. And Harry agrees to help Zoom because of his charges. He's like, give me that speed or I'll kill your daughter. And of course Harry agrees to it. Alright, this episode I thought was okay, and that was Potential Energy. Yeah. I'm gonna be right back, guys. I'm gonna go get me some more water. Sorry, I'll be right back. Be right back. Alright folks, I'm back. Sorry. Just wanted to get more water. Alright, again, this episode is called Potential Energy. Yeah. Cisco ends up learning about this metahuman called Turtle, who has the ability to slow things down. You find out that he can rob stuff a little faster while, like, in his slow time. He can slowly go into a hole. That's what it's called, Turtle. Barry ends up failing to stop him. Barry tries to use super speed because he's bossing GCP to steal something. Excuse me. He steals something from Captain's Dean, and he tries to use super speed. But Zoom holds him, so Barry can't, use his super speed to stop him. He just holds it in time, of course, Turtle sees him, Turtle's like, and gives him away like, can't catch me. And he's identified as Russell Clausen. He plans to set these diamonds, steal these diamonds. Barry, Barry, again, who's in a relationship with Patty, wants to tell his secret that he's the Flash. Clausen kidnaps Patty. But Barry's able to, get enough speed to eventually knock him out and save Patty. Patty ends up telling Barry that she's leaving Central City, that she wants to not just be a cop anymore, that her goal was to get her father's killer, Martin, the weather wizard, and she did accomplish that. She succeeded, but in sending him in jail. But she wants to, do Barry to CSI, so she has to go to a college for that. She has to leave Central City, and Barry's like, well, maybe I can help her stay by telling her he's a Flash, but since she's been kidnapped, her life's been threatening, he doesn't want her, somebody he loves and cares about, to get hurt. Yeah. And you end up finding out Harry, he kills Turtle Clausen. He basically needs to steal Flash's speed, so he, goes another way than him, puts it up his nose and murders him. He even does this recording, he's like, to my daughter, she said, I won't do anything, even murder a man. Joe shows the relationship with Wally, who, you find out is street racing. He comes into the episode, comes in the door and says, hi, I'm Wally West, I'm Francine's son. And, he says she has sickest cancer, but, Wally is racing. And Joe's trying to tell him not to do this. He's like, this isn't any business. He's like, yes it is. I'm a cop. This is illegal. Can't be doing this. You find out that Jay is dying of an illness caused by Zoom from stealing his speed. They try to stop Zoom to get Jace back to cure him. But okay episode. But I found Turtle a very interesting character. He just didn't really move fast enough for me. No, I'm kidding. He wasn't that interesting of a character in my opinion. I just didn't really care for Turtle too much. This wasn't a big one in the episode. Alright, that was an okay episode. Now another favorite episode of mine is The Reverse Flash. The Reverse Flash returns. The team ends up discovering Turtle's death, and Jay does suspect Harry, but they don't know if he really did it or not. He doesn't know how to work his powers, so he wants Harry to help him. Harry, puts on the reverse flash suit on. Like Cisco is like, don't do that, you scared me. He's like, this is just a show of fear. Just with the reverse flash suit on might scare him a bit. And it works. And you find out that this reverse flash ends up trapped there. Before he killed Barry Allen, this is even before Yvonne, knew of Barry Allen. Knew of the Flash. He just learned about him, I guess you can say. And, he's flashing his power. I didn't like in the episode, I think it was this episode where Barry stops a truck from exploding to a building, a biochemistry building, it'll cause a big explosion, so he, uses super speed to, go around the truck real fast and tear down, which is cool. When Eva's watching, he's like, Gideon, who is that? He's like, that's the Flash, Barry Allen. Well, the Flash. It tells him who it is, and he kidnaps, Christina McGee from Murder Labs, forces her to build him a machine which can take him back home. This version of Tom, he's from a point in the future before he went back in time to kill Nora and, protect her from being erased. So it's basically another version of him. Tom is planning to use the tachyons to return home, and he finds out that, that after he helps her, which he won't let go, instead he'll end up, doing the Speed Force with his hand and, crushing her heart and killing her. Barry stops Tom, and the president says, Barry beats the shit out of him once. He beats the heck out of Reverse Flash, almost kills him. They take him to prison like, you're never going to hurt anybody again. He's like, I'll find out who you are, Flash. I'll find out who you are one day. And then you have Cisco, who's getting sick. It causes a rupture in the body of the timeline that threatens to kill Cisco. So Barry doesn't want to do it because Tom will kill his mother, but, he'll risk killing his friend. And he puts on his Flash, he's like, Reverse Flash says, see you soon, Flash. He's like, I'll be waiting. And they run, and he sends Reverse Flash back to his time. I guess she says where he learns of, the Flash more about, finds out about his identity, and then the events of season 1 take place after the film. From there, this Spawn found out, from there, I'm getting confused myself. Well, she's just going to kill him too. That's why he uses the identity of Harrison Wells from Earth 1. Just hadn't happened yet. Patty discovers that Barry's the Flash. He's like, I'm not the Flash. It's not me. I'm not. So she decides to leave. Even Artis has a connection with her mother, accepting, that she forgives her for abandoning her. She forgives her. She tells, well, you need to. He's like, well, I'm trying to pay for my mom's medical bills and all that stuff. He's like, well, you know what? She's going to pass away soon, Wally. You need to go say goodbye. But anyway, Patty at the end of the episode leaves, goes to Central City, Flash tells her goodbye, and then she doesn't say, she's like, goodbye, Barry, and that's the last time we see Patty Spivot. You don't see her ever again. But a good character, though. It's a shame, though. She was a really good character. Wish we could have seen more of her. Very beautiful woman, too. I'm not complaining. But not more beautiful than Iris. Alright, then another favorite of mine is called Fastlane. Right before the particle accelerator explodes, he has a character named Joey Monte. Joey ends up thrown into this tar pit, left for dead. 2 years later, he becomes part of the tar. Well, it's amazing. But he gives him abilities. So he's almost like a walking giant monster zombie. And he's out for revenge against the people that murdered him. It's molten tar. He's able to help Barry speed faster, but he still has Barry's speed. And because of that, though, Barry tries to save a man, but he ends up being too late because, Joey ends up killing this man. Wells ends up giving half the speed to Zoom. Zoom, takes a zip over. He's like, I want more. Then you'll have your daughter back. Wells and Cisco end up finding a way to close the breaches. While going after Joey, since Barry's not fast enough because his Harry James still needs speed. It's at the car place. Where Joey's trying to get revenge on the car owner. Was one of the guys who had him killed or helped that night do it. Car wrecks, glass breaks. He can't save Iris, and Iris, glass like hits her right here, and Barry feels guilty about it. After showing Joey while he continues racing, even after Francie's death, at his mother's death, they build a place for Zoom. But good episode in my opinion. Fastlane. And then, eventually Harry ends up telling them that, because he feels guilty about it, and he tells them that he's the one that killed Murder Turtle, and Joe punches him in the face, and they throw him in their horrible prison or whatever that they have for metahumans. Barry closes all the breaches, except for the one in Star Labs. But him and Harry decide to rescue his daughter, Jessie. They just have to do it very quietly. Part 2 was great, though, because it's like the future of Central City. It was like a very distant future a good future for Central City. Well, not a good future because it was taken over, but the trio end up getting stuck going up to Barry sees his doppelganger, who is a non-man, just a regular guy, but he's, a nerd, he wears glasses, and This is a very tight and a different kind of Barry Allen. They cannot knock him out because Barry sees this, doesn't pretend to be him, realizes that this Barry is married to Iris, and Iris is a cop. And you find out that Joe is a lounge singer, which I like that. I thought, okay, the actor plays Joe, really good singer. But you find out that in this version, that Ronnie's alive. He is not Firestorm, but Deathstorm, and Caitlin is Killer Frost. You see them kill some people, kill some guys or whatever. And so they're sent to kill the Flash. But since Barry doesn't have a speed, this Joe version, who doesn't like Barry, or to Joe, ends up getting murdered and killed by Firestorm, by Deathstorm. Excuse me. And they realize there's some pictures of Intruder too. You have Geomancer, this guy that can use his ability. He's been beating up Central City, knocking down buildings. Well, not knocking down buildings, but just terrorizing. So, said, Jay, you need to use your super speed. He takes this Velocity 9 to help him with speed. I like it when he uses the helmet, he can pow, 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 pow. Uses it to do like sonic booms. Takes the guy out, he just does that run and does that stance. Or Velocity 6. That ends up killing him. Kevin develops Velocity 7, which helps Jay, and they defeat the guy. Of course, Iris' partner is Floyd Lawton, aka who is Deadshot, but in this version of it, he's a terrible shot. But Deadshot is really good at shooting a gun. Never misses his target. That's why they call him Deadshot. And the Arrow Force, he is the one that is the enemy of Team Arrow, especially John Diggle, for murdering his brother Andy. Cisco ends up meeting Frost and Deathstorm, who, are the doppelgangers. He meets his own doppelganger, that is Reverb, who is a villain. He's like, Francisco, I could teach you to use sonic booms and powers. And they nearly kill Flash. I mean, Firestorm, and Killer Frost's like, stop it, Zoom will do. Zoom shows up, kills Deathstorm right in front of Killer Frost's eyes. She's like, no! And he tells Reverb, like, I told you not to kill the hero. His yells like, nearly killed you. He's like, this is what you get for disobeying me, and he kills him. Zoom does. Barry ends up later awakening at a cell in Zoom's lair. And he even gives Flash a beating. And then the man in the iron mask is trying to, knocking on the window of his cell, trying to tell them something. But Welcome to Earth 2, great episode in my opinion. And another favorite of mine, of course, is called, should be Escape from Earth 2. Barry does try to say that if he can vibrate his body using his speed to get out of the cell, but it doesn't work. It's like his powers are dampened, so he can't do nothing. So Iris too, of course wants to get back, gives him for killing his or kill Frost, and they go after Frost, they fight with her a bit. But she's like, Frost, try to do something, I'll shoot you right here, Frost tells him, I can't help you get there. She's like, okay, I'll help you. No choice, I guess. He's like, Caitlin, I hate that name. Don't call me Caitlin. But she uses her frost powers to like make stairs so they can get up to the building, to the cave. And they, of course, save Jesse. The Zoom ends up showing up. Barry 2 and Iris 2 are two versions of the Central City. The Zoom, of course, is taken out. It's frozen almost by Killer Frost, but you find out Zoom has a soft spot for her. I'll get to that a while later. Like I said, spoilers ahead. Cam creates a Velocity 9, which Jay uses to stop Adam, who breaks in the Star Labs, but they end up stopping him. But they're, Barry, Cisco, and Rose, we get out of there. And they're all happy. Caitlin is smiling at the men that she's now in love with, and he smiles back at her and says everything's okay. And go to the breaches that Jay, of course, created for them to get back because they got destroyed at first. But before you know it, the episode ends on this climax where Zoom comes through it, stabs his hand through Jay, kills Jay. She's like, and Taylor's like, no, not yet, no. Because remember she lost Ronnie twice, and now the third time she loses a man she loves, and he gets killed. And the episode ends there with Jay's death. Yeah, a good episode in my opinion. Then another favorite episode of mine is called King Shark. Now, King Shark was one of the episodes who tried to attack Flash. Almost killed him. Almost bit his head off. But in here, everyone, you hear the opening of Caitlin saying, open up the breach, see if we can get him back. It's like, Caitlin, he's going, Caitlin. Caitlin's going, not again. And she goes to sleep, and she's just upset because this happened to her a second time, losing a man that she loves, finding love again, and now it's taken away from her again. But then you find out Argus, who is, again, it's in the universe of characters, John Diggle and his wife, Lila Michaels, who is now the director. They have King Shark there, but King Shark ends up killing some men and escaping. They try to shoot at him, but King Shark swims away fast and tries to go hunt down and kill the Flash as Zoom sent him there. And he wants to do it so he can go back home too, or get a promise from Zoom. Barry and Wally, they don't really see eye to eye. You seem like the two don't get along. He tries to ask Barry for help. Barry tries to help him, like maybe build a core or tell him how to do it. It's like, well, or maybe I shouldn't do it. It's like, well, you got a problem with me, Wally? All of a sudden, King Shark opens up the door, not the door, but breaks Joe's house down and say, Flash, where is he? And Barry's like, I'm going to go upstairs, and he chases the Flash, and he gets the King Shark to chase him. He's like, you're fast, Flash. To Argus helps him out like this, but not as fast as I am in water. And again, Wally doesn't know he's the Flash. Barry's the Flash. Barry comes walking out, just acting out. He's like, wow, it's hiding up there. And he's like, well, we have a big shark up here in Blues of Flash, which is weird, doesn't make any sense. And he's like, well, Alex says, well, Central City's a weird place, and Joe gets on to Wally because Wally says to Barry right in his face, like, well, maybe you just out there because Barry, you're a coward. He's like, didn't know you're a coward. And Joe says, enough, Wally. And Wally just walks out angrily. Feels like that his dad favors Wally over him because he hears how great Wally is. And Wally hears how great Barry is. Maybe there's a bit of jealousy there because, Barry's like his son to him too, and you could say he feels jealous about it. But, Joe assures him at the end that you're my son, but so is Barry. Barry's been through a tough time. Barry's not perfect. He's not perfect. He lost his mother. His mother was a murderer for him. He explains all that. And he's like, but I love all three of you so much. I don't play no favorites here. I love all three of you, and Wally understands. But anyway, with King Shark, they come up with a plan to trap him. They use like a dummy flash, which works. And, Barry can run on water, which is cool, and King Shark is chasing them. Barry's able to create like, a whirlpool in the water, and it knocks out King Shark, defeating him. Barry wants to open a breach to go to Artutus to defeat him. Caitlin becomes a little cold, just is being a little mean, and, she's like, Cisco, she's like, I saw your version kill false, and I like that when Caitlin becomes a little better at the end. She even messed with Cisco. She's like, she used her killer raw force just to tease him, which I thought was funny. But to apologize for the way she's been acting. And again, some spoiler alert, you find out, Zoom has the body of Jay. Zoom takes off his mask, and of course, it's Jay himself, which I'll explain that a little later. But Jay is Zoom. Jay Garrick is Zoom. More spoilers ahead. Yeah. Like I said, don't watch the video if you've not seen this season. But that was King Shark, alright. And another, this one was okay. This was Travesty. Can't say her name right. Barry starts trying to get faster so that he can take on Zoom. They go to friends, just to hang out. Wally and Jesse meet for the first time. There's a flirtation between them there. The two do end up getting in a relationship. Jesse, goes to the bathroom, listens to this recording of this phone, of this her watch, and her dad, Harry saying they had to kill a man. She's like, what did I think about? My thought was just murdered him. She does confront him about it. And then you have this lady who is faster than Flash, speeding away. The speech turns out to be Eliza Harmon, who is like a Mercury Labs employee. Her work handling, but you find out that she's mentally disturbed in the head. Like, this velocity she's taking is too much, it's killing her. Barry can't even catch her. He can even fight, and he, beat up Barry. Harmon invades her labs, and even imprisons Barry, and demands more false in 9. She threatens to kill Jesse. Rose doesn't let that happen, so he gives it to her. She wants to break havoc. Barry manages to stop her before she injects more false in 9 to her system. She shows her run, but you see that as she's emerging, that her speed becomes so intense that her lightning turns blue, and she disintegrates. She dies. She just needed help, but she was disturbed in the head, and just took too much of the drug, and eventually it killed her. Running so fast. Jesse just has to leave to experience the world on her own and stop Wells from doing more harmful things, because she's upset. Like, you have to murder man, do that? I'm like, don't do that. That's just wrong. Doesn't condone what he did. And of course, Harry knows it, and he knows he has to live with that. Well, since he, goes past the helmet, he, Cisco in this episode is seeing visions of Zoom running. Like, while he's seeing that going past Jay's helmet. They put something together, and, Barry breaks the glass because they were using to respect Jay. Because Barry wanted to keep it around for inspiration to defeat Zoom, to learn to use his more powers to be faster. Well, a little later on, but they said, and then he's like, oh no. He's like, Jay is Zoom. Because he knows now Barry is angry because he trusted somebody like Harrison Wells, Gabriel Thawne, who betrayed him once again. Barry runs off, almost to like the Hoover Dam or whatever, just, screams because he can't believe he trusted somebody was portrayed again. But that was tragedy. Okay episode in my opinion. Just didn't find the character interesting. Alright guys, another favorite of mine is called Flashback. Barry, saying, I've been betrayed once again, so he needs to try to stop him. So Barry, says he wants to travel back in time, but Harry doesn't support it, saying that more, but Kevin and Cisco are for it. So Barry does travel back in time to when Hartley Rathway attacked the team. He switches places with his past self. His past self, he shows like, this is going to be like to patch you up, but then him and his Flash fight, which again is bad CGI. You can tell it's not Grant Gustin. He basically takes the same emblem, the one from his Future Self was. Season 2 is white, but in the first season it was red. So Barry takes that, and he suggests to them that they check on and Rathway's ears to take him out. He chose to escape, so he chose to prevent that. But then you have this thing called a time wrath. It's like a demon almost coming after you. That when Speedster time travels in the Speed Force, it's kind of like you broke the rules, or you in the Speed Force to them it's like breaking the law. So they come after you. Eventually Thawne finds out it's Barry, gets up, knocks him out. He's like, it's me, don't you, Alan? He's like, why don't you just come in? He's like, I could kill you right now, but I won't. And it's like, I'll help you get your speed, He gives Barry this system or whatever, this drug, velocity or whatever, to help him go faster. The Wrath comes to the lab, and Harry's like, Thawne's like, if that thing catches me, you're all dead. It doesn't, but Barry's able to get it away. The Barry from the current time arrives, saying, and then, future Barry comes to the past Barry and says, yeah, Barry, I'm you. So I can time travel? Like, yeah, Barry, you can, just not yet. But Barry can't damage the timeline, so he can't tell them about Thawne. He can't warn them. It's like, oh yeah, he's evil. He's the man that murdered your mother, Barry. Future Barry can't tell past Barry that, because it would damage the timeline, the time continuance. Yeah. His past Barry, though, they end up, the time wrath tries to get him, but past Barry helps out. He runs around the particle accelerator and goes back to his time. And then you see the future Hartley arrives with his sonic gauntlets and defeats the Wrath, kills the Wrath. Barry gives Iris this footage of Eddie. Yeah. And it helps her to move on. That was sad to see Iris cry, but it was good to see her move on from Eddie. Remember Eddie Thawne who shot himself, it's the first season, just to help her move on. But good episode in my opinion. Alright, and another favorite of mine is called Versus Zoom. And this is where you learn about Jay's past, but of course he is not Jay Garrick. His real name is Hunter Zolomon. And when Zoom was a kid, Hunter Zolomon, that's his real name, he, like Barry, Barry saw his mother, not murdered, because his future self took his younger self out of the house, speeded him out of there, and then Reverse Flash killed his mother. But Hunter grew up with disturbed parents, especially a father who was a murderer, because he, you see young Hunter in bed, waking up and his father yell abusing his mom, and he's like, come and see this boy, I want you to get a front row seat, and gets a shotgun and right in front of, I would say, 8-year-old Hunter, or 10-year-old Hunter, shoots his mother right in front of him, and that disturbs his psychic in his mind or whatever, and after seeing that, it disturbs him in the mind, he ends up going to an orphanage, bounces about the orphanage, eventually grows up to become a serial killer. He's about to be, since he's killed so many women, he is about to get, the death penalty. But thanks to the particle accelerator by Deadly Harrison Wells of Earth 2 explodes, he ends up becoming Zoom. And lusts for more speed, more power, and is so psychotic that he wants to use his power to take over the world, take over and conquer other Earths, like he did Earth 2. Barry tests the tachyon accelerator that Watan gave him and makes him faster. He believes that Cisco's power will keep doing it. Cisco's too afraid of Zoom, that doesn't want to do it. But Zoom immediately appears, chasing Barry's Star Lab as they fight. But he's got the better of him because they find out whose parents are. They keep these cutting cardboards of the parents flash in front of his eyes, and he sees this when he's flashback. Barry's able to punch him and eventually knock him out. He's like, using my parents against me? That's pretty wicked, Barry. And you really find out that Hunter's really messed up in the head. And he was just Barry, deep down somewhat, you're just like me. Reportedly, like, I'm nothing like you. You're a murderer. He's like, Barry, you have that darkness inside you too. I am the darkness. Eventually, he escapes. He's like, darkness. You see him. His eyes turn black. He's like, use a Zoom voice. And escapes. But Zoom ends up kidnapping Wally. Demands Barry speak in exchange for Wally's life. Barry agrees. He even smiles in their face, tells them to get done, and Harry almost wants to hit him. He's like, no, Harry, don't. And he's like, okay, I'll still, They ask him, well, who was that, Jay? He's like, it was my doppelganger from Earth 1. He just agreed to help me out. So, he pretended to be me. He's like, why do the Flash? Why pretend? They're like, to give people false hope, detective. Just to play with their minds. He's able... Barry's speed all comes in the serum. Zoom shoots himself with it. Gets off speed. He's like, I got you now, Flash. He's about to kill him. Until Caitlin says, Jay, if you have any feeling for me, please don't kill him, don't. And so he kidnaps Caitlin. Yeah, but good episode in my opinion. Alright, and another favorite of mine is Back to Normal. And, Barry has a gift of life without his powers. He gets up in the morning, has to get ready very slowly. He has to take the bus with the people that annoy him because he can't use super speed. He has to wait in the line for coffee at Jitters, In the real world, it's Starbucks, but in here it's Jitters, but he has to wait in line for coffee for several hours and drops a coffee mug and it's like can't pick it up because of his super speed. So he feels helpless. Rose ends up, finding his art, finds Jesse, but she's like, I don't want nothing to do with you murdering a man. He's like, okay, well, when you're ready to come back to me, come back to me. But he gets kidnapped. Rose gets kidnapped by Griffin Grey, believing him to be Dawn, who demands that. Well, he believes that, he's the Dawn from this Earth, the one that was evil and created the particle accelerator. But you find out that Griffin has super strength, but, he's aging. He was like maybe 13 or something, but now he's like a almost 30-year-old man. And he's aging more and will kill him. So he needs help. He's able to convince him. Even burying them try to stop him, but he nearly kills Flash by using his super strength. Barry uses, finds out the more he uses strength, you see him age more. So, they fight him at this carnival, and Barry's able to, say, come on, get me. Does take a few punches, but Griffin starts aging more and eventually dies. To fight Zoom, Harry wants him to get struck by lightning again. Henry doesn't agree with this because he's like, well, it's not your story here. You don't have to be the Flash. But Barry says, I know you all three care about me. Tell about him, Joe, and Barry, and of course his father, Henry. But this is my decision. So he decides to do this. On that too, Zoom tells Caitlin that he's kidnapped her because he's in love with her. He's like, well, you're just like me. Caitlin counters her doppelganger. Killer Frost, who says, I'm going to help you get out. It nearly does work, but Killer Frost is like, guess what, Killer Frost, I'm going to kill you. So Frost almost kills Caitlin, but unfortunately, with an ice pick, kill Caitlin. Zoom shows up and kills Killer Frost. But then he also wants Caitlin. Don't free the man with my Iron Mask, or you'll get the same fate. Later, though, Hunter decides to conquer the others. He's like, well, Caitlin, why conquer Earth 2? Why not conquer all Earth? Why not just take it all over? Just to rule all over it. And the episode ends with a great episode, in my opinion. Really good. Yeah, you can feel bad for Griffin. Because that part of did ruin a lot of people's lives in the show. But anyway, this episode I thought was okay, and that is Rupture. Rupture. Last okay episode, y'all. But Barry just has declined Harrison's offer. So what they do is rig a hologram of the Flash to start crime around the city. Henry, joins the team. Doesn't agree with this explosion, like I say, he doesn't agree with it. Her and Caitlin go back on Earth 1. He tells her, she's like, you're a monster. It's like, well, Caitlin, you're a monster, so too. If you think there's some darkness in you too, it's like, come on, Hunter, you don't have to do this, And he's like, my name is Zoom. Anyway, but, Cisco, has a train with his brother Dante, who, again, I don't like Dante. Dante's a jerk, but you find out that there's a two version of Dante named Rupture, who's got like this weapon. He's working for Zoom, tries to kill Cisco and his brother. It doesn't work. But I do like that he and his brother, make amends, and Cisco even gives him a hug, But Rupture is doing this because he believes Cisco killed his brother, Reverb, in that version. Zoom sends Rupture out to the police to send them a message. But Barry and the police, they end up flashing the Flash, ends up defeating him all with the police. Zoom shows up with the video cameras and he's like, Earth 1, get ready for me to attack you. I'm taking over now. And also, Zoom kills all these officers except Joe and Captain Singh, as well as kills Rupture for failing. He says, and he also announces that the Flash has disappeared. See, false hope people, the Flash isn't back. He's gone for good. I'm taking over now. But Barry finally agrees to Harrison's plan during this process. Barry is suddenly vaporized, And Archer sees this, he's like, no! He goes to run, and, you have Barry's suit just destroyed, and he takes a look at the suit, and is like this. You try to give the Flash his powers back, Zip says, but instead you end up killing him, and he runs away. He's like, what do we do? But Barry, you find out, ends up in the Speed Force, which I'll get to that next episode. Alright, last of the OK episodes. Just a couple more. Just 3 more episodes, guys. 3 more. And this one is called The Runaway Dinosaur. Wally regains consciousness, but Jesse ends up in a coma after the portable cellular exploded at the end of the Rupture episode, where they try to get Barry's powers back. She ends up in a coma with Barry awakens, because they decided to keep them in this room just to keep them safe from Zoom. Barry ends up in the Speed Force, kind of like talking to his own power. The Speed Force, first it's he said, Joe? He's like, because Barry Wiggins in his childhood home, when he was a kid, where he grew up in. He's like, no, Barry, I'm not Joe. We're the Speed Force, he's like, you made a mistake. We gave you 2 chips. He's like, I had to give away my speed for a good reason. He's like, well, you can get your speed back. You can get out of here when you catch that. It's like this shadow he's chasing. Then he ends up running to somebody like Iris. Cisco is able to use the breach, using his abilities, to try to get him to come back. I said, Barry, you can go back, but without your speed, so Barry can't go back yet. It's like in this vision, Barry's standing there, sees Cisco, but then just looks back. And then runs to his father Henry, well, in the form of the Speed Force, as his father Henry. Tell him, like, Barry, have you really got over your mother's death? Do you still feel that pain? You can still really never move on with your life over it. But Barry, can't even speak right. But then Barry goes to chase his shadow, and this time the Speed Force taking the version of his mother, and this Runaway Dinosaur, this episode, this book that his mom used to read to him. And it's a special moment seeing Barry reconnect with his mother. It's the Speed Force, but like seeing him reconnect with his mother, trying to move on. Yeah, that was a sad moment. But eventually he's able to catch the shadow and become the Flash once more. And he finally accepts Nora's death. Barry returns to our lives in time to find that by a meanwhile episode, Tony Woodward, who was Barry's bully back when he was in school, who had the power to turn to metal, is like a walking zombie looking for Iris, so they lure him to there, but Barry's able to take him out. Then at the end, Zoom has assembled something from Earth 2. Giving them a speech like, this world will be ours. Giving them a speech at the end. But a good episode in my opinion. Especially the whole thing with the Speed Force, I thought that was great. I like that. There's 2 more episodes, guys. Alright, this time it's Invincible. Caitlin is a return to the team, but she sees like visions of Zoom, like being right there. Zoom's army reaches out across the city, nearly destroying half the city. Barry trying to use his powers to fight them. Barry puts several fires and takes out some of the metahumans. Barry, has this level of confidence, like he's not worried, but they're like, wow, he should be a little feared because we have these metahuman attacking. Zoom is, they're winning. I mean, he's not, like everything's just cool, But then among them you have, she even tells him, Barry, you're not invincible. Then you have Laurel Lance, or two Laurel Lance. Laurel Lance was Black Canary in Arrow. Her character was killed off in season 4 by Damien Dark. But here, her character is Black Siren. And Barry, Cisco sees these vibes, these visions of birds, of a mockingbird, blackbird, Black Siren, and sees what, Zoom was planning to do to Earth 1, destroy it, kill millions of people in Central City. Well, in Earth 1. Yeah. But, at first he can't defeat her. She nearly kills him, and she's like, I'm going to kill you. Wally is trying to also defeat these metahumans. His dad's going to get him to him. He's like, you need to have a talk with him, Bear. But Barry's kind of proud of Wally, seeing that he wants to help out and be a hero too. And Barry's proud. Doesn't work, but hey, but what's cool, Wally do like that he uses score, that Wally uses his fast score, and knocks over Black Siren. Eventually they're able to catch Black Siren, put her in the cell. They even try to, Cisco and Caitlin pretend to be revived and Killer Frost just to fool her. He's like, hey, revive catch. But he's left-handed, Cisco is right-handed. Vi was right-handed, sorry. Barry's all apprehended all at once because they end up creating this weapon, the sonic amplifier, that he's able to stop them. So Zoom is pretty much defeated, as you can say. Not fully. Barry convinces Joe to love Wally the hero that he is. Zoom returns though and kidnaps Henry in front of the team. They're just sitting there relaxing like this. You're not finished with me yet. He uses identity Wally. And Zoom, who's told Barry before, you're just like me. I got a front row seat to the death of my mother, but you got to be backed away from it. You got to speak away from it. I got a front row seat. It's like Barry gave a darkness, so like I said, he kidnaps Henry. John Wesley Shipp, Barry's father, was like this, and Barry's like, as he's got him by the throat and ready to kill him. He's like, after I do this, Barry, you're gonna become like me. You're gonna have darkness in your heart. You're gonna become a murderer, just like me. Exactly like me. And Barry's like, no, kill me. He's like, no. He's like, before he dies, he's like, Barry, listen to me, look at me, Barry. You made me the most proudest father ever. I love you, son. Me and my mother will love you. And then Zoom just, strikes him hard and kills him. Barry's like, no, and he dies. And sad moment there. Alright, now on to the last episode of Season 2. Yes, just one more episode, guys. Barry, you beginning him crying for seeing his dad. He's like, Dad, no. He's like, see, now you're going to become like me. And he was like, that's it, Barry, get into it. And he runs, and he nearly kicks his ass. He does, almost gets ready to kill him. He used to, the speed of force to kill him. But instead, Zoom does, it's like, see, you're nothing like me. You just can't kill me. Because he creates a time remnant. There's a funeral for Henry, and Barry's so upset and so mad, so angry, so heartbroken, but he's angry, and he wants to kill Hunter. He wants to kill them. Harry challenges Barry to a race, threatening to kill everyone Barry loves if he refuses. So, Barry accepts. Harrison Sears Hunter is in possession of a magnator, a device that will destroy. That will destroy every planet in the multiverse, killing a lot of people. Which requires both their speeds powered up. He's like, if I win this race, I win and conquer the Earth. then I lose. But Hunter ends up kidnapping Joe, and Barry says, I accept the challenge. But, Barry says, tells Joe he wants to kill him, to kill Hunter. He's like, I can't let you do this, Barry. And, Harry with his gun, shoots with it, just knocks Barry. They shoot him out with a tranq dart, just to pass him out, put him in the cell, so he can't use his powers. He's like, guys, you cannot defeat him if they try it. They even try to use Caitlin to distract him, hologram her, but it doesn't work, because he almost does want to kill Caitlin. Thank God it was a hologram, right? But anyway, it doesn't work, so he kidnaps Joe, and he's going to kill Joe unless Barry says to do it. Barry, through the Cisco through Cisco's fire powers, tells him, we'll do it, I'll race you. And he comes and I like when Iris says, Barry, kick his ass. And Iris starts to grow feelings for Barry back. She starts to like Barry back, seeing that, she might have a destiny with Barry. She grows feelings for him too. And there's two where they start to come close, and you see the relationship is building. But Joe is captured, so they do this race with the magnets, and Barry creates a time remnant of himself. The time remnant ends up freeing Joe, and he defeats Zoom. Him and Zoom fight. He just kicks Zoom's ass. And he's like, Barry, you won't kill me. He's like, I won't have to kill you. And then the time rats, these demons, they're like demons, the time rat, they come and they capture him. They turn him into what you would later call Black Flash, where he's like their main time rat that would hunt other speedsters as his punishment, and they take him into the Speed Force as punishment. Yeah. Again, for his crimes against the timeline, for going back in time and doing all this stuff. Barry ends up rescuing the man in the Iron Mask, who is actually the real Jay Garrick. He's like, I don't want to see this mask again. Destroys it. He barely does it. He's like, what? Barry's like, yeah, this just looks like my dad. He just looks like him. His Henry's 3 doppelganger. Will and Jesse, along with Jay, return. Well, we see Will and Jesse by each other. They'll give each other a hug. And you'll see Harry says it back up. They're always like, well, Harry, maybe I can come over your stuff and break stuff, and they just laugh about it. They'll give each other hugs, and they return to their Earths. They go back in, but Barry still is feeling somewhat defeated after losing 2 parents. Him and Iris have a talk and say, well, maybe we're just meant to be together. Then you see them both share a kiss for the first time. Barry just makes the decision to go back in time, and he stops Tom from killing his mother. He basically creates Flashpoint. And the Flash from season 1 that was, in that room waiting to stop Reverse Flash, sees him, sees what his future Barry did, and he's like, smiles, and he vanishes, from time, I guess. And this is where, in season 3 you get the Flashpoint story. Just like in a Flash movie, but here different. So, yeah, well, kind of same thing. But good episode, in my opinion. Great episode, good ending for season 2. So, that was my favorites and okay episodes of season 2 of The Flash. The Flash season 2. Alright, my final opinion on it is, I love this season, guys. I think it has a good story. I like the villain. I thought it was really good. Seeing the Flash fight more, seeing him become a hero, and nearly being defeated. Zoom, I thought, was a great villain. Tony Todd did a great job with the voice. I know there was another actor in the suit, but the actor who plays Zoom, plays Jay Sears, he does a great job. All the actors seem to do a fantastic job. I like all the characters in here, and Barry suit is even, I think, one of my favorite. This one, very cool. You know, good action scenes. The CGI is not really good. I don't care for Dante. You know, didn't care for Tragedy or that girl character, the speedster. Didn't really care for her character. And I didn't really care for Turtle either. And some of the CGI, like I said, is really bad, especially on King Shark. Yeah, some of the action's a lot of CGI. It's not very good. But it's a TV show. TV shows don't really have good CGI. Sometimes movies don't either, but still not a very big budget for every episode. But either way, Flash Season 2 is still awesome, still my favorite season. I think it has definitely the best story. I like that there's, you know, we see like Earth 203, that there's other worlds out there, a multiverse. This is like we need to begin to know about it. And seeing other Earths and doppelgangers of these characters, different versions of them, that's cool. And I like seeing them face Zoom, who is probably my favorite villain of the Flash. Comes over as a good threat. You know, in Season 3 it's Savitar, in Season 4 it's Thinker, and Cicada, Season 5. Good villains, but I've always preferred Zoom to be probably either my favorite. I would say the best still was Reverse Flash, because of what he did to Barry killing his mother, but still, really good season though. Spider-Man issues though, I can let it slide. My rating for the Flash Season 2, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 stars, and a thumbs up for the Flash Season 2. So guys, if you've seen the Flash Season 2, tell me in the comments down below what you think of it in your opinion. Do you like it or do you hate it? And stay tuned next weekend, probably hopefully next Saturday. This is a Friday night, already nearly 10 o'clock, but oh well. Hey, it's Friday. God, I can be better to do anyway. Yeah, this is like the only Flash shirt I can have. I don't have one. But anyway, next time. So next weekend, I'll be giving my thoughts on favorite episodes of The Flash Season 3. So Season 3 will be next. Yeah. Well, I forgot to mention here in Season 2, I did like it when John Wesley Shippen and Amanda Pays, as their characters, as Henry Allen and Christiana McGee, they kind of meet up again and, kind of build a relationship. But it was good seeing them together. If you're definitely really nostalgia for the 90s show, then you'll probably love seeing them talk. And that was great. I was like, good nostalgia there. But Season 2 of The Flash will be great. Again, thumbs up. Tell me in the comments down below, guys, what are your favorite episodes of The Flash Season 2? And again, I'll put spoilers, and that there were spoilers in this video for the season in the description box below. So please don't watch this video if you have not seen this season, The Flash. Do not spoil it for yourself. But anyway, guys, stay tuned for The Flash Season 3, which will be next weekend. So Season 3 will be next. So guys, I'll see you later. Thanks for watching, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in a flash. Alright, see you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend and a good week next week. So, be safe and be good. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.